Hey, how y'all doing? This is Mongo Slade, and today we're going to talk about that gauntlet on Smackdown, January the 8th, 2020. So let's discuss this thing. So the gauntlet match was for the number one contendership. It was won by Adam Pearce, who was forced into the match by Roman Reigns. But the big story coming out of this match was Shinsuke Nakamura, who apparently decided to show up for work in both body and spirit, and he slayed this joint. So let's talk about the whole match, because I think the whole match itself was a banger. You get Ray versus Sami Zayn first. Sami Zayn comes out. He's talking about being the victim of a conspiracy. So he got his own camera crew who are trying to create a documentary. Look, about the conspiracy, by the way, to screw him over. Because he wanted to be in the gauntlet, but he didn't want to be in there first. So he got screwed. Now he's in the gauntlet first. Now, if this leads to Sami Zayn having an Alex Jones style documentary, what was the name of the Alex Jones documentary when he went to the place in California, the bot with the Baphomet and all that type of stuff? I forget what it's called. I tried to watch it twice. I fell asleep on it. But if there's like random people with no teeth in this documentary talking about, well, I don't know what's going on. Like, he goes to talk to like strangers, like Chris Jericho did. Like when Chris Jericho did the conspiracy victim in Washington, D.C., and he was just walking around talking to like homeless people and stuff. If they do that with Sami Zayn, I would love this. Like, I really want to know where it's going, because like the only proper response is that we do find out that it really is a conspiracy against Sami Zayn. Maybe it really is. Who knows? But I love it. I love that he got his own camera crew now. That they're making a documentary. So the conspiracy continues because Sami Zayn was distracted. He gets, 619 in the face and pinned literally like 40 seconds. So most of Zayn's shine was him talking on the promo. He's become a very good promo, which is very different from his days in NXT, which is why you go to NXT. You go to NXT to learn how to do this stuff. And basically just told Sami Zayn to be himself, apparently, and that's what he's doing. He's really good at it. So number 3 was Shinsuke Nakamura. We get Shinsuke Nakamura versus Rey Mysterio. And this was good. This was dope. These two, they didn't give away a lot. These two have not wrestled that much. When Shinsuke Nakamura, I believe, was a United States champion, he had a short string of matches with Rey Mysterio. They didn't really catch on because, Nak was a heel, and he was surfer boy Nak. He wasn't really in, wrestling mode. And they really just kind of put him in the closet as a champion anyway. But this rocked. The finish was really good. Nakamura countered one of Ray's big splashes from the top rope into an armbar. Great for submission win. I was surprised to see Ray lose. I would have thought Ray versus Roman with the family theme would have been a great idea. See, when you have that family theme of Roman, what he's doing for his family and all that type of stuff, you have some really family oriented guys on this roster that you can do stuff with. And Ray is one of those guys, and Daniel Bryan is one of those guys. And they both lost this match. So then Baron Corbin came out next. And Corbin attacked Ray and Nakamura and Dominic before the match started. He ran down to the ring, beat up the Mysterios, beat up Nakamura, bloodied him a little bit. There was some little specks of blood on Nakamura. And then, the match between Nakamura and Corbin was actually pretty good too. Nakamura was really, he was kind of, that was kind of the moment he kind of turned babyface. Is when he gets jumped from behind by Baron Corbin. And he kind of works the match from Babyface's perspective from that point. He's doing most of the selling. He's, fighting from behind. He's trying to, most of his offense is counters, strikes, stuff like that. So then the finish comes in as Corbin does his little around the ring post thing. He comes back into the ring, boom, right into Nakamura's knee. And he gets pinned outright. Great finish. Fantastic fucking finish. And then we get Nakamura versus Daniel Bryan, which stole the show. You know, this was I've heard that Daniel Bryan, one of his things was he wanted to wrestle Shinsuke Nakamura. And so he's going to get in there with Nakamura as often as he can. He said a similar thing about he wanted to wrestle Drew Gulak. And that's why him and Drew Gulak ended up having a match at Elimination Chamber. Even though the company doesn't see much in Drew Gulak, he personally wanted to wrestle him. And since he had the stroke to do it, he made it happen. And so he did it. He did it again here. Daniel Bryan just wants to wrestle people that he thinks are interesting. You know, he wants to wrestle people. You know, he doesn't want to wrestle the guys Vince wants him to wrestle. He wants to wrestle other guys. You know, so he kind of snuck in the back door and got a really solid match. And the match was fantastic, but I mean like a solid amount of time with Nakamura. And Nakamura was, again, working face. So he's also done a great job of selling the previous matches. Like, he's not up, fresh, jumping around, doing all that type of stuff. Daniel Bryan had the advantage. Especially when they would do strikes. Nakamura would turtle up on the ground. He would, turn into a ball. And Daniel Bryan viciously would kick the guy while he's down. And that sort of thing. The finish, great. Fantastic finish. Now, I believe, let's see what the finish was. Because I believe they did, well, hold on, before we talk about the finish though. The yes lock spot, I thought was also very good. Now, Nakamura was in the yes lock for, quite a while. I said before that the longer you're in a hold, the more you kind of bury it. And I do think Nakamura was in this hold a little too long. But I think that, if you're trying to rally Nakamura, then it makes sense of how long he was in the hold. But of course, it would have made a lot more sense with a live crowd. But I did like that while Nak was getting close to the ropes, Daniel Bryan transformed it into a Rings of Saturn. And he was trying to, cop the leg, which would no doubt led to the submission. But Nakamura's longer legs got to the ropes. So one of the Kinshasas, which was really dope, and I thought this was the finish, and that's why I paused for a moment to think about it, is that Daniel Bryan tried to do a hurricanrana from the second rope. Nakamura stuffed it, came with the knee from the second rope, a banger of a knee. Only got a 2 count, which was crazy. So the match continues. Bryan is doing his running drop kicks into the corner. He does 2 of them, and on the third, he runs directly into a Kinshasa, gets pinned, and Nakamura is on top of the world. He has won 3 straight matches. Everybody on Twitter is like, man, Nak is back. Nak has brought his working boots. Nak is on fire. Are they really going to do Nakamura and Roman? What is going on here? This is amazing. He's looking better than ever. And then they brought out Adam Pearce and did the whole thing with Roman Reigns. And okay, so here's my thing. I love Shinsuke Nakamura. I really do. Big fan. Big fan of his work. Always has been. Likely always will be. He really brought it on this episode of Smackdown. He really, really brought it. So he's been turned babyface apparently. Because he got jumped by Baron Corbin. He had to fight from underneath against Daniel Bryan. He had to, he got jumped by Roman and Jay. He got screwed out of a title match. So we got some really good babyface momentum with Nakamura here. This could be the resurrection of Shinsuke Nakamura. And I don't want to get too excited. I don't want nobody else to get too excited. But that could possibly be what we're looking at here. We could possibly be looking at the resurrection of Shinsuke Nakamura as a babyface, which he has not been a babyface since 2018. He has not been a babyface in years. Babyface Nakamura is the guy that everybody liked. He's the guy everybody loved. You can actually look at Nakamura's decline from when he actually started, when he turned heel. There was still a lot of good energy there, but people didn't really want to boo Nakamura. Right? They didn't really dislike him. And then, all the low blows and stuff like that, people were like, ah. Now, I have criticized Nakamura's work before, specifically his matches with just Samoa Joe and the fact that he hasn't put forth 100% effort. But unlike other people, I do believe that Nakamura has had good matches. Other good matches, other than the match with Sami Zayn. I think that his match with John Cena was actually pretty good, except for the fact that he dropped John Cena on his head. His match with Randy Orton, I don't remember that much of it. Of course, it's very hard to get a good match out of Jinder Mahal, but I didn't hate the matches with AJ Styles. I don't think that they were of the level of New Japan, but I didn't hate those matches. They were very solid. Of course they could do better, but I think that they were solid matches. So but these matches he's had on this show were some of the best stuff that he's ever done in WWE. The match with Daniel Bryan, best match he's had in years in WWE. And he's been in there with some decent opponents. He's been in there with, he's been in there with Jeff Hardy. He's been in there with Rey Mysterio. He's been in there with, I think, Mustafa Ali. He's been in there with Orton. He's been in there. Well, I think his match with Rusev was pretty good, too. The Christmas match that he had with Rusev. Well, I think it was December 18th, but I call it the Christmas match. I think that match was pretty good, too. So he hasn't been slacking completely. He just hasn't been up to his own standards. So hopefully we get to see this match as the resurrection of Shinsuke Nakamura. I would really love that. I think that would be dope. So he's only 40, so he's been in the company 3 years already. 4 years, because he came in 2016, so it's going on 5 actually. So he's already there. The promos are going to be a problem, of course, but I do think that we get Nakamura and Roman out of this. And I think that's very important. I think it's very important that they built up this energy of Nakamura being a babyface again, which is what everybody wants. Everybody likes Shinsuke Nakamura. Nobody hates him. That's been the problem. That's been one of the problems. Not just the booking, but it's also been his alignment. He's not a guy people hate. What is there to hate about Shinsuke Nakamura? That's the question. Other than him hitting AJ Styles in the balls, what was there to hate about him? There was nothing to hate. For that stretch of time when he just hit people in the nuts and won matches in short order because he hit you in the nuts, that didn't connect. There was no reason to hate Shinsuke Nakamura. There's never been a reason to hate him. Him being a babyface is where it is. That's really where they killed him, not because they changed his theme song. It's because they changed his fucking alignment. There is no reason to dislike Shinsuke Nakamura. He's too charismatic. He's too good in the ring. There was no reason to dislike him. So now that he's back to being a babyface, hopefully he's back to being a babyface. He can get in this spot with Roman and be able to turn it on. He don't need to turn it on 2 or 3 times. He can go back to being a surfer Nakamura and chilling and eating sushi and do whatever the hell he wants, painting pictures, taking photo shoots, doing whatever he wants. But I need him to turn it on a couple more times to really solidify that it was really just no reason to dislike him. And now that he's a babyface again, he's been reinvigorated, re-energized. He's ready to go. Because I still believe that you can get something out of this guy. And I never say never. Almost never say never. I think that you can get something out of him. What? I don't know. Do you get 6 months as the world champion? Maybe not. Do you get 2 weeks as world champion? Maybe. Do you get 1 run and that's it? Maybe. I don't know. I don't pretend to be one of those people that say nobody's ever going to make it unless you're fucking Chuck Taylor or something. I very, very rarely say people are never going to make it because I don't know the future. But I see that there's opportunity here. There's energy built up. There's an investment there. And Roman Reigns versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Could we possibly get that on TV? And I believe that we will. Does that mean we're going to get it next week on SmackDown. You know, which would be SmackDown on the 15th. It's possible. I would like for them to put some more effort into it, though. Give it some time. Give it some time. I think that would be really good. So, I'm too excited. WWE is trolling us with this goodwill, giving us these good Nakamura matches. Nakamura's trolling us, making us thinking he's done surfing and he's ready to work again. He's back from vacation. I don't believe it yet. I don't believe it yet. But let me know what you guys think. Hit me up in the comment section below. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys, and I'll talk to you guys later.